How does my next guest see the sentencing delay playing out legally? With me now, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General and UC Berkeley law professor, John Yoo. John, just your initial reaction.
This is a big victory for Donald Trump. He's had a string of them now. He won at the Supreme Court. He won in finding the special counsel unconstitutional. He's won in the January 6th case, which has now been delayed, I think, well into 2025. And now he just won in New York City, which was the only case to get to a verdict, but was also the weakest legal case. Judge Merchan here has bowed to political reality. There was no way he could make any decision about sentencing that wouldn't affect the campaign. But what he still has to do is bow to legal reality. There is a passage in the Supreme Court's immunity decision, which was almost a complete victory for Donald Trump, which directly addressed this case and basically said it had to be retried because it tried to use official actions by the president to convict him of something that he was doing not as president. The court said judges can't do that. So Judge Merchan eventually, either here or on appeal, is going to have to throw out this jury verdict and have a new trial.
Is that how it will work? Let's say post-election, he issues a verdict, and would the Trump team have to then officially appeal it for him to say, okay, it's tossed out? How does it work mechanically?
Great question, Charles. Judge Merchan has pushed the sentencing date to November 26th. He actually has all this time between now and then to realize that he's going to have to ultimately throw out the old verdict and order a new trial because of the Supreme Court's immunity decision. But suppose that Donald Trump loses. People may not be as focused on this case as much. This judge might realize the error of his ways and go ahead and get a new trial going. But suppose Donald Trump wins, then all the legal problems are going to be compounded. Is Judge Merchan going to sentence to jail someone who's going to be the president of the United States in just a few weeks after the November 26th sentencing date? This opens up a whole can of new legal problems that our country has never had to face before because this judge has pushed forward to accelerate to get to a verdict on a case that was the weakest of all of the four prosecutions of former President Donald Trump.
John, let's say Donald Trump wins and he's inaugurated in January. Does a judge, any judge, have the ability to take a sitting United States president and sentence them to prison?
That is the hard question that our system has never faced before, Charles. It's a great question, but which we will have to face because of this judge. Now, this judge could avoid this whole problem by saying, yes, Supreme Court, I realize this was a mistake. I've read your decision. I'm going to throw out the verdict and have a new trial. He could even say, and we will suspend that new trial until President Trump is done with his time in office. But given the way this judge has acted so far, accelerating all the proceedings to get them in before the election, to get the verdict in before the election, he might go ahead and sentence President Trump anyway, and then trigger a constitutional clash between the federal government, which has an interest in having the elected president serve in office, and the rights of the states. The states have the right to try people for crimes not in their official capacities. The sensible thing would be for this judge to suspend proceedings and let President Trump continue in office. But if he doesn't, then this will have to go up on appeal, and it will eventually get to the Supreme Court.
Hey, John, I've only got 30 seconds, but I want to just kind of squeeze this in, the notion of the postmortem on lawfare as we saw it over the last year or so. You know, you think it will be one of these experiments that were done that both sides agree just didn't work. It went against the ethos of America.
I totally agree with you, Charles. What this decision today shows by Judge Merchan, coming on a string of Trump victories in court, is that the whole lawfare campaign by the Democrats to prevent the people from rendering their judgment on President Trump in the ballot box and trying to funnel it into the courtroom with juries was a failure. But they have broken the norm of doing this, and you worry about how we're going to restore the rule of law going forward.
Yes, we do. John, thank you very much. Always appreciate it when you're on. Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.